It's the Ford Show! The Company of Australia presents the Ford Show Orchestra, led by Bob Gibson, with Peggy Brooks and Johnny O'Connor, while your master of ceremonies is Hayes Gordon.
A special treat this week, ladies and gentlemen. For as guest star, we'll be presenting one of Australia's best-known performers, the irrepressible Bobby Lim. In response to a request from a Melbourne listener, I'd like to recall a work from the pen of master composer George Gershwin, a simple piece of philosophy from Porgy and Bess. Oh, I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me. I got no car, got no mule, I got no misery. The folks with plenty got a lock on their door. Afraid somebody's a-going to rob them while they're out making more. What for? Now I got no lock on the door, that's the way to be. They can steal the rug from the floor, that's okay with me, 'cause the things that I prize, like the stars in the skies, all are free. Oh, I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me. I got my gal, got my song, got heaven the whole day long. No use complaining. Got my gal, got my song, got my Lord. Oh, I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me. I got the sun, I got the moon, I got the deep blue sea. The folks with plenty gotta pray all the day. Seems with plenty, you sure gotta worry how to keep that devil away. Anyway, now I ain't a-frettin' about hell till the time arrive. Never worry long as I'm well. Never want to strive to be good, to be bad. What the hell, I is glad I'm alive. Oh, I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me. I got my gal, got my song, got heaven the whole day long. No use complaining. Got my gal, got my song, got my Lord.
Now, more than ever, motorists are finding out that it's better in Zephyr. Want to know why? Well, for one thing, Zephyr 6 is the most powerful car in its class. Its overhead valve six-cylinder engine develops 80 brake horsepower with effortless ease. Power-wise, it's better in Zephyr. Likewise in performance. Zippy Zephyr has extraordinary road-hugging ability on all surfaces and corners. The driver has sensitive fingertip control at all times. Performance-wise, it's better in Zephyr. Zephyr 6 saves you money. The over-square principle of its smooth engine and its other modern features means constant economy in miles per gallon and in longer life. Economy-wise, it's better in Zephyr. In looks, Zephyr is the car for moderns on the move. Long, low, and wide, it's right in the very front line of the world's design trends. In Zephyr, you get living room comfort for 6 adults, legroom for a 6-footer. Latest fashion colors and two-tone trim blend perfectly with the smooth style lines that will keep Zephyr looking modern for years. So, in appearance, it's better in Zephyr, too. Your Ford dealer invites you to find out for yourself why it's better in Zephyr. Test drive Zephyr 6 soon.
An old song, an old sentiment, and an age-old judgment. Witness at the bar of romance is Peggy Brooks, and she pleads...
Guilty, ladies and gentlemen, as you can hear from the verdict of the song. Is it a sin? Is it a crime? Loving you, dear, like I do. If it it's a crime, then I'm guilty. Guilty of loving you. Maybe I'm wrong, dreaming of you, dreaming the lonely night through. If it's a crime, then I'm guilty. Guilty of dreaming of you. What can I do? What can I say after I've taken the blame? You say you're through, you'll go your way, but I'll always feel just the same. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, loving you, dear, like I do. If it's a crime, then I'm guilty. Guilty of loving Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, loving you, dear, like I do. If it's a crime, then I'm guilty. Guilty of loving you.
Right now, we're paging Johnny O'Connor for a special request. From the shadow of the cypress groves of ancient Italy comes a modern love song, The Seven Hills of Rome. You'll fall in love. Your heart is home. When you are young, among the seven hills of Rome, the world is old, but love is new. And when in Rome your heart will tell you what to do, feel a glance and a happy circumstance has made you know you've suddenly found romance. So fall in love. Your heart is home. You've made a heaven, the seven hills of Rome.
Thank you, Johnny O'Connor, for a very lovely song indeed. And look now, since you've been so closely associated with our guest star, Bobby Lim, how about I hand over to you to perform the introductions? Huh?
Sure, why not? I've got to help him out with the first song anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce a young man who really loves nature, in spite of what it did to him. My friend, Bobby Lim.
Oh, well, thank you. And may I introduce a young man who really doesn't need to get ahead. He's doing quite well without one. My friend, Johnny O'Connor.
Friends, isn't it rather nice to have friends? Isn't it rather nice to have friends to rely upon, shoulders to cry upon? You must have friends. Friend, how can you get along without friends? How can you get along without someone to help you out? When you are down and out, you must have friends. Tell them about it, boy.
I rely on my friends. They help me in all I do. Oh, bumbo.
I don't try to buy friends, although it sounds funny. No amount of money buys friends. Nothing is quite complete without friends. And if you ever meet the one who will be part of life, right from the start of life until the end, then, my friend, you've made a friend.
I rely on my friends. They help me in all I do.
I don't try to buy friends, although it sounds funny. No amount of money buys friends. Nothing is quite complete without friends. And if you ever meet the one who will be part of life, right from the start of life until the end, then, my friend, you've made a friend.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. As the little dog said when he sat down on the sandpaper, rough. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Johnny and I are going to give you some examples of steam radio entertainment.
First, the radio interviews,
Our favorites are the sporting interviews.
where they interview the champ. They always start off something like this. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have here in the studio with us this evening former heavyweight boxing champion, Mr. Punchy McPug. Now, Mr. Punchy, I'd like you to tell our radio audience a little about yourself now. You were born in America, weren't you?
Yeah. That's right, I was born in Chicago.
In Chicago, eh? Before the fire?
No, behind a piano.
Yes, yes. And, was your father a boxer, Punchy?
No, my father was an old Indian fighter.
And your mother?
An old Indian.
You've got a pretty good record as a boxer, haven't you, Punchy?
Oh, yeah. I had 140 fights and I never lost a decision. I was KO'd every time.
But you must have won some of your earlier fights.
Oh, yeah, I did. I fought Kid Wilson. I beat him. I fought Kid O'Brien. I beat him. I fought Kid Lewis. I beat him. And then I lost one.
How was that?
Well, they stopped giving me kids and made me fight a man.
Tell us about your last fight for the championship, Punchy.
Oh, that was a great fight. Before the fight, some guy comes up to me and says, I'll give you $1,000 to lay down in the second round. Well, of course, I refused. I never went that far before. Well, just before the fight, the referee told us to get out, said I want a good, clean fight, no rabbit punches, no hitting below the belt, no backhands, which was kind of tough, because those are my best punches. Well, the first round came, and I come out, I kept the old 1-2, and before he knew what hit him, I was flat in my back. In the fourth round, I brought a pretty good one up from the floor, which was where I happened to be at the time. In the sixth round, I was in a bad way, but I kept saying to myself, I've got to win, I've got to win, I've got to win, but I didn't do any good. I knew what a liar I was. At the end of the fight, they took my opponent to the hospital.
Ah, so you knocked him out, huh?
No, he broke his hand on my jaw.
Have you a message, Punchy, for any youngsters who are thinking of taking up a boxing career?
Yeah, I certainly have. Duck.
Our last example, spot advertisements on radio.
We all know that advertisements play an enormous part in commercial radio, although some people think there are too many of them. There's so much, in fact, that in the future they fear they will even be included in the middle of a song. For example, let's look into the future on the make-believe Bronson's show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Happy Bronson's Show, brought to you by Bronson's, the makers of Bronson's. We present the romantic voice of Johnny O'Connor singing that number of yesteryear, Mr. Sandman. Yes, okay, Mr. O'Connor.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
Excuse me.
Yes, folks, nothing brings more pleasant dreams than a steaming mug of Bronson's malted milk before bedtime. Now, here's a way to really save money on your malted milk. The next time you go into your local dairy, pick up a jar of Bronson's malted milk and run like mad. Save money. Okay, right.
Make her complexion like peaches and cream.
Yes, for a really wonderful complexion. You can't beat old Mother Bronson's skin cream. Remember, Bronson skin cream contains a new mystery ingredient, skin. A Bronson skin cream costs twice as much, but goes twice as far. Of course, you have to use twice the amount.
Give her the word that I'm not a rover.
And what about Rover? Let's hope that you're feeding him Bronson's.
The dog food that's untouched by human hands.
It's all manufactured by other dogs.
Remember, Bronson's dog food contains a new mystery ingredient, cats!
And tell her that my lonely nights are over.
Girls, end those lonely nights by bringing out the sparkle in your hair with Bronson shampoo. Remember the name, Bronson's, the shampoo with built-in dandruff.
Sandman, I'm so alone.
Girls, if you're alone, maybe it's because you're too nervous. Now listen to what this husband writes about Bronson's nerve tonic. Says, "Dear sir, I bought my wife 12 of your pills in a polished mahogany box. And after taking the pills, she is now in a polished mahogany box."
Ain't got nobody to call my own.
Men! What about that body of yours? Now let's hope that you're using the Bronson muscle building course, like me and him. Like me. Why, do you know I get up every morning and punch a bag for half an hour? Then she gets up and makes me a cup of tea.
Please turn on your magic beam.
Ladies, what about your beam?
Now, don't let us get overweight. If you're over 40, the Bronson reducing course is the course for you. If you're under 40, well, it's just the thing too. And if you're exactly 40, well, many happy returns of the day. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
And we say thank you from the Ford Show to our guest star, Bobby Lim. Two guest stars, in fact, Bobby Lim and Johnny O'Connor.
When you invest in one of the Ford family of fine cars, you are assured of lasting assets, top performance, sure dependability, and real value for money. You invest in something else, too. Intangible, perhaps, but nonetheless important. Your local Ford dealer. Extensive training and practical experience give him complete knowledge of your vehicle. His staff of competent mechanics, trained in Ford factories, utilize specially designed equipment to ensure the work is done efficiently and economically. And he holds stocks of the genuine parts and accessories that are right for your Ford. Wherever you live, wherever you drive, you'll find a Ford dealer nearby. Get to know him and get the very best in motoring.
For tonight's grand finale, we're turning back to a musical era of the past, the gay 90s, and recalling some of the grand old songs which the unforgettable stars of the music halls recorded so indelibly on the archives of popular melody. From the mighty age of Mary Lloyd, Dan Leno, and the other immortals of variety, here are some of the songs they made famous for all time.
Brothers, when you hear that the preacher has begun, bend down low for to drive away your sins. So when you get religion, you want to shout and sing. It'll be a hot time in the old town tonight. When you hear the bells go ding-a-ling, oh, join round and sweetly you must sing. So when the voice sounds too, in the chorus we'll join in. There'll be a hot time in the old town
Right now would be the brief interlude in the old music halls when the waiters would come running with the patrons' drinks, and the chairman would bang his gavel and announce, "Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, if you please. We are proud to present that popular little lady, Peggy Brooks, rendering one of the most requested songs of the halls, Daddy Wouldn't Buy Me a Bow Wow."
I love my little cat, I do. Its coat is oh so warm. It comes each day with me to school and sits upon the form. When teacher says, "Why do you bring that little pet of yours?" I tell her that I bring my cat along with me because Daddy wouldn't buy me a bow wow. Daddy wouldn't buy me a bow wow. I've got a little cat, and I'm very fond of that. But I'd rather have a bow wow, 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 wow.
Daddy wouldn't buy her a bow wow.
A bow wow.
Daddy wouldn't buy her a bow wow.
Bow wow. I've got a little cat, and I'm very fond of that. But I'd rather have a bow wow wow.
Yes, those were the days when the simplest things of life took on an added freshness and charm when translated into the idiom of the music halls. They wrote an ode to a lass who lived up the street, my gal Sal, and a parting reminder of the golden age of variety, and the band played on.
They call her frivolous Sam, a peculiar sort of a gal, with a heart that was mellow
Matt Casey formed a social club that beat the town for style and hired for a meeting place a hall. When payday came around each week, they'd grease the floor with wax and dance with noise and vigor at the ball. For Casey would waltz with a strawberry blonde, and the band played on. He'd dance round the floor with the girl he adored, and the band played on. But his brain was so loaded it nearly exploded. The poor girl would shake with alarm. He'd stay with the girl with the strawberry curls, and the band played on.
Casey would waltz with a strawberry blonde, and the band played on. He'd dance round the floor with the girl he adored, and the band played on.
But his brain was so loaded it nearly exploded. The poor girl would shake with alarm. He'd stay with the girl with the strawberry curls, and the band played on. He'd stay with the girl with the strawberry curls, and the band
The Ford Show featured as guest star Australia's irrepressible Bobby Lim, with Peggy Brooks, Johnny O'Connor, the Ford Show Orchestra led by Bob Gibson, and your master of ceremonies was Hayes Gordon. The Ford Show is produced and directed by Darcy Fitzgerald. Bruce Menzies speaking.
A reminder too, Bruce, to listen for the Ford Show again at the same time next week, presented by Ford Motor Company of Australia. The Ford Show is broadcast over an Australia-wide network to our armed forces and shortwave listeners around the world through Radio Australia. So until the same time next week, it's good night from F-O-R-D. And remember, wherever you go, wherever you are, watch the Fords go by.